This is how to score every single type of freestyle in Rocket League, starting from the easiest shots that exist, all the way to what might just be the hardest shot that has ever been scored in the history of Rocket League.
97, 98, 99, 100.
Oh my! So in this video, you'll get to see the complete progression of what's possible in the world of freestyling and just how complex it can get. But you'll also get a tutorial for each shot so that by the end of this video, you'll theoretically know how to score a quad flip reset. Theoretically. And I broke up all the shots into 3 different phases, starting with phase 1, which are the easiest shots. Phase 2 is where they get a lot more difficult, and phase 3 includes the shots that are so incredibly difficult that it shouldn't even be legal to score things like this. So if you haven't already, click the red button to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so more people can see this and learn how to freestyle. Alright, but now let's dive into phase 1 and get started with the easy freestyle shots. First off, in order to understand how to score every type of freestyle, we need to understand the one common trait that almost all of these shots have, and that is the spins. Without spinning or adding some type of flashiness, these shots go from being freestyles to simply just being mechanics, and that is not what we want. So whenever you can, or whenever you want to, just air roll your car and add some spins to make it a freestyle. When trying to do an air dribble, the most important part is matching your car to the speed of the ball. So let the ball roll up, follow closely behind, and as you both go up the wall, keep holding accelerate, and your car should automatically hit the ball off the wall. Practice doing this a few times until you get the hang of it, and after that, step 2 is to jump off the wall as soon as your car hits the ball. And once you practice this enough and get the timing down, all that's left to do is use your boost to air dribble the ball in the air towards the net. And of course, don't forget the spins. Using the same setup as the air dribble, take the ball up the wall and jump off as if you were gonna do an air dribble, but this time you'll be trying to fly up from under the ball so that all of your car's wheels touch the ball. The easiest way to do this is to air roll into it, which gives your car more momentum into the flip reset and makes the follow-up a lot easier. And after you get the flip reset, it's up to your imagination on what you want to do with it. This can be set up in many different ways during an actual game, but for now, let's talk about setting it up from the wall. Similar to the last shots, you roll it up, but this time you want to take the ball with more speed and at a more slanted angle. And when you tap the ball off the wall, give it a bit of time before jumping off. After there's some space between your car and the ball, that's when you can jump off and use your second flip to send the ball to the backboard to finish the double tap. The ceiling shot is not only very fun, but it's also extremely effective against real players. And to set this up, it's the same wall setup. After you tap the ball, keep driving up the ceiling and let the ball come up to you. At this point, your car should fall off the ceiling and you can air dribble the ball towards the net using the flip whenever you want. There's also different ways you can get to the ceiling. For example, my favorite way is to jump off after tapping the ball on the wall and then fly up to the ceiling after doing some spins. And I know all of you plats want to start off with the more advanced version right away, but just try to resist those low rank urges and go step by step with the simple version first. This one is pretty simple. All you have to do is dribble the ball on the hood of your car, jump, lean forward, and then flip backwards. You can also jump, lean backwards until you get to this position, and then flip backwards. If you do it right, you'll get a perfect scoop, kinda like ice cream. And this can be combined with a whole bunch of different freestyle shots, which we'll get to later, so it's important you learn this first before trying to combine shots. And now we're combining 2 previous shots into one deadly freestyle. But in order to pull this off, you're gonna need more space and more speed, so it's better to start further back on the wall and with more momentum. Just like the ceiling shot, you hit the ball off the wall, drive up the ceiling, but now that you have more speed, you should be able to use your flip to send the ball to the backboard and hit a double tap after that. This shot isn't super useful in game, but it can be hard to recreate even for good players, which makes it a good shot to use in Horse, if anybody still plays that. You might have seen this done by the famous pro player Arsenal.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
But this shot is usually done as a backup when your original plan doesn't work, but it's actually a great backup. And the way you do this is similar to an air dribble setup where you're pretty straight onto the ball, but now you want to give yourself a bit of space, then boost back into the ball as if you're going for a touch, but instead you tilt your car back to let your wheels get a reset on the ball. Now usually after this, the easiest thing to go for is a musty because your car is already tilting backwards in that direction. But if you're good enough, you can do anything you want after. Again, this is pretty situational, but if you can get it consistent, it can lead to some easy goals. The rank up freestyle shot is done by joining the high rank blueprint created by me, which gives you a step-by-step guide on how to reach Grand Champ as quickly as possible. And if you've been stuck in the same rank for a long time, which I'm sure is many of you, or you just want to improve faster, this course is exactly what you need to reach that goal of Grand Champ. And this program is made specifically for gold, plat, diamond, and champ players, so if you fall in those categories, then the lessons in this course will be tailor-made to meet your needs and what's missing in your gameplay. If you want proof that it works, we have an entire Discord section full of hundreds of students that share their progress, like this guy who went from Plat 3 to Champ 1 in just a few months. And right now, the first 30 people that sign up will get 30% off, so click the link down below before the offer runs out. And now we're combining the ceiling shot with a musty, creating the ceiling musty, which is one of the most powerful shots you can have in your arsenal. This is the same setup as a ceiling shot, but as you're air dribbling it towards the net, just tilt your car back and use a backflip to hit a musty. This can be very difficult to read from your opponent's perspective, and if you get a good setup, it's basically a guaranteed goal. The breezy flick is very difficult to learn for the first time, and it's also really difficult to use in game. Just be careful because it may lead to excessive happiness to the point where you start crying uncontrollably. Or maybe that's just me, but the setup is similar to a musty flick where you dribble the ball on the roof of your car, but when you jump in one fluid motion, you air roll to one side while turning your car to the opposite side. Once your car is upside down, you stop air rolling but keep turning until the ass of your car is pointing at the ball. At this point, you should be perfectly set up to do a musty flick, which altogether creates a breezy flick. Alright, and now we've made it to phase 2, which means the shots get much harder and are only meant for more advanced players with better mechanics. Sorry, Plats. The ceiling pinch is very underrated and it can really catch your opponents off guard. Again, you start with a rolling ball, but this time you want to take it up the wall at max speed, basically supersonic, and right before the curve, give the ball a little bit of space, then tap it off the wall going full speed, full boost, and your goal is to air dribble it directly up towards the ceiling. The timing off the wall is tricky because if you do it wrong, the ball will go too far away from you, which makes it basically impossible to air dribble it up to the wall, so you will have to practice this timing a lot. And you want to make sure you angle your car correctly so that the pinch ends up pointing towards the net. Basically, wherever your car's nose is pointing, that's the general direction the pinch will go. And after that, just start praying that it goes in the net. Another shot so satisfying you might just cry when you score it, and that's the double reset, which has two main ways to do it, either with a diagonal flip or a stall. Diagonal flips are easier for most people, so that's what we'll cover right now. In order to get a double reset consistently and in a way where they can be effective, the best way is to diagonal flip cancel into the reset. What this means is doing a diagonal flip and immediately holding your thumbstick down. So you start by getting a normal reset, and I found the best way is to be directly behind the ball in line with the net before going for the second reset. This gives you the best position to follow up after the double with some type of shot around the defender. If you come in from the side of the ball, it's going to be hard to continue towards the net since you'll have to curve it, but if you're behind the ball, you'll have a much better angle to finish the shot. And the timing of the second flip is very tricky, so the best way to practice this is go into a training pack that sets up the shot for you, so you can just go for it over and over again until it becomes a muscle memory. The team freestyle can be done many ways, but the basic idea is that one person takes it up the wall while the other player comes in from a different area, usually off the ceiling so they can keep their flip. Then the first player passes it to the second player, and if all goes right, you score. There's not much to teach you here, you just gotta go try it and hope that your opponents let you go off the wall. And now we get to one of my favorite freestyle shots, the ground pinch. Step 1, you need the right car. Yes, you can do this with any car, but it gets way easier if you're doing it in a Dominus. Once you've switched cars, you want to take the ball up the wall almost vertically with no angle, then go faster than the ball, jump to the ceiling, and try to land directly above the ball. The tricky part here is making sure you don't hit the ball too high where it hits the ceiling, but also not too low or it'll make the pinch harder. But once you get the speed right and the ball floats up right below your car, allow your car to come off the ceiling, then point your nose slightly up to give the ball some space, then point it down towards the ball, and at this point your goal is to match the speed at which the ball is falling. If you're an advanced player, you can match the speed of the ball and then air dribble it down to increase the speed, but for now just focus on matching the speed of the ball and trying to create this angle with your car and the ball once it reaches the bottom. And once you're at the bottom, all you have to do is front flip cancel into the ball, and if you timed it right, the ball will go shooting into the net. And just like that, you're now pulse fire. The pogo has become a lot more popular nowadays thanks to Dark, and it's actually not that hard to pull off. This has a lot of different ways of setting it up, but the most common is coming down from the ceiling or off of a flip reset. And during this fall, the opponent will rarely challenge you, so it's a good way to confuse your opponent with a different approach. As you're falling, you want to lean your car forward and at a slight angle so that you hit the corner of your car on the ground, and if you do it correctly, your car will bounce back up while keeping the flip you had from earlier, and now you have an infinite number of very effective options. While you're falling to get the pogo, make sure to stay close to the ball so the opponent thinks you still have control, or else they'll just challenge you before you can even get the pogo. And if you're having trouble getting your car to bounce up, then try leaning forward as you hit the corner of your car, which should help it bounce up and make it easier to follow up after. This is another shot that can be set up in many different ways, which means you never really know when the right time will come to use it. But for now, let's set it up from a ground to air dribble. Your goal here is to basically squish the ball into the backboard using the wheels of your car, kind of like smashing down a hamburger. Doing this will stop the ball, give you a reset, and as both you and the ball are falling down, you'll have a flip available to score into the net. This usually starts from a defensive play where the ball is on your own backboard, and just like a normal air dribble, you pop the ball out, but this time you want to aim for the very lower half of the ball and then diagonal flip into that section of the ball, which gives it more height and upward momentum, allowing you to air dribble easier. From here on out, you should start air dribbling across the map using small taps and trying to keep the ball high in the air. By air dribbling with small taps, this will give you enough space to get a flip reset at some point throughout the map, which you can either use or not use depending on what your opponent is doing. And I know this all sounds simple, but it's way harder than it sounds, so try not to smash your controller if you can't do it. Just like the ceiling pinch, you need to come in with a lot of speed, but this time a bit more slanted and closer to the goal. And now you're aiming for the pinch to hit the backboard so you can follow it up with a double tap. And for this shot, it's important to pinch it as you land with your wheels on the ceiling, and make sure to hold power slide as this happens so you can keep your momentum. If you don't do this, it'll be hard to catch up to the ball and actually hit the double tap. You can also set this up off of a ground dribble, which is a shot that Zen is very known for. This one right here is my personal favorite, and the important thing to keep in mind for this shot is you need to get the flip reset from under the ball. Rather than get it from behind the ball or from slightly under, this shot gets a lot easier if you can fly up directly underneath the ball and get the flip reset that way. Not only is this going to boost the ball higher, giving you more time, but it'll also leave you in a very good position to get the musty after. And you also want to try to get the flip reset already facing the goal, or else it'll be very hard to change direction directions after the flip reset. You want to try and cancel the musty shortly after the flick. That way your car stays facing forward and you can boost towards the double tap. If you're closer to the net, you can cancel the musty earlier to give it a weaker flick, and if you're farther away, you can cancel it much later to get a more powerful flick. And this shot is very difficult, so don't be surprised if it takes you weeks and weeks of practice to get it. For a triple reset, the important part is to slap the ball with your car. You do this by getting the timing down perfectly, and this slap will give the ball more height with each reset, which you definitely need if you want to pull this off. It's also important to get enough height on your initial touch and once again come in from the bottom for the first flip reset. Alright, and now we've made it to phase 3. These are the shots that are so difficult they shouldn't even be legal. And they're so hard that I had to call one of the best freestylers I know to show you how to do them. Alright, Ozueya, so I had to bring you in for these last shots because they're way too difficult for any normal person to score.
Is this you trying to say I'm not normal?
Yes, you are indeed not normal, Ozueya. You're
great.
an alien.
Alright, so for for the double reset musty, it's mainly easier to do it with rapid resets. First reset's pretty simple, and after you kind of want to angle your car in a direction where you can like kind of front flip to the left 45 degrees, which allows you to get a second reset. And then after that, you want to get yourself in a good position where you want a touch in front of you to the point where your car can pretty much stay in the air and do a backflip, which then allows you to get the musty flick.
You know, it seems pretty simple, pretty doable, honestly. Alright, so explain this musty sidewall. What are you doing here?
Okay, so for the setup, I'm kind of double jumping off the wall to get an extra like pop on the ball, so it's got momentum while going
really?
to the opposite
double
way.
Jump. Oh, okay, alright, I see.
Landing on the ceiling for the reset. Then I'm getting a touch after I come off the ceiling, which allows me to basically control the musty wherever I want it to go. And then after it, I'm sort of leaving it like around half a second, and then I'm delaying the musty so I can get more power. And after that, it's just trying your best to read it, see how much power you can get, see where the positioning will go when you hit the ball.
Double jump off the wall, get one touch, musty, delay, and just hope you get the read, basically.
I mean, yeah, the reads can be quite skill-based as well. It just depends on your camera settings, usually.
Oh, the camera settings, they help with that?
Yeah, because I say like around 90 height is pretty good, because if you're kind of lower than that, it's kind of hard to see like the point of contact between you and the ball.
Alright, what about this quad reset? What's going on here?
It's a quad reset. I wanted it to be kind of close towards the net, so therefore I can just get a normal hit into the net.
And the potato quality, is that necessary to score it?
I mean, if you're on console and then
do I have to play on 144p in order to hit this?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay. All right, but
like
what about the resets? These diagonal flips? Are you like doing anything?
Yeah, they're all diagonal flips. It's when after your reset, you kind of want to get yourself into a position where it's almost like a front flip reset. It's more like 35-25 degrees. So you're pretty much just...
It's almost a side flip, huh?
Yeah, it's almost a side flip, but you want to have a little angle on it. Or like low amounts of resets between like, I'd say like 1 to 7.
That can be pretty... Bro, 7 is not a low amount. What are you talking about?
Well, for like rapids, I guess.
All right, you're just not human, bro. No way you said 7 is a low amount. All right, next clip. What's your explanation for this one?
Okay, for the Muri pop, you kind of want to be falling at the same speed of the ball. You can do it just sitting on the ground, but it is a lot better, like coming off the wall of the ball. So you want to match the speed of the ball. Like here, you're falling down at the exact same speed. Then you want to boost. Do not hold accelerate, otherwise you will stick to the floor. But you kind of want your car's nose to be on the circumference of the ball. Like you'll see like the white arrow underneath, or not the white circle underneath the ball. you kind of want your car nose to be on that when you land with the ball. Which then that allows the ball to pop up and your car to pop up as well.
And you don't hold accelerate, you said. Just boost?
Yeah, don't hold accelerate, otherwise you will stick to the floor.
So you start boosting as you hit the ground?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna boost into the point of contact.
Oh, okay, I see. And then after that, it's basically just normal musty sidewall.
Controlled musty, get a touch into the musty, and then it's just a read after that.
Seems doable. Alright, so this is you hitting over 100 flip resets in a row. Oh my goodness, that quality. Yeah, over 100 flip resets in a row. Honestly, I don't know what you could say in terms of tips here, but how did you do this?
So, well, step number 1 is learning how to reset. Pretty simple step. Step number 2 is learning how to heli reset, which is a type of reset. Then after that, you kind of want to really focus on the heli chains, which is going from up to down with no going back up with like an air dribble and musty. You want to focus on your stalling speed. So that means you can get around 6+ every time you chain resets. Another tip is your air dribbling. You want to pretty much be able to do it infinitely. I'd say if you have around like a 5... Yeah, I'd say around like a 5 to 10 minute like PB is a pretty good time.
Infinite air dribbles,
the ball
bro?
in any position.
You just said infinite air dribbles? That's the thing?
I mean, technically, if you can do at least a minute air dribble, it's pretty much infinite.
Alright, and what about the car choice? Should this be done in a flat car, a Dominus, or could it be done with like an
well,
Octane?
Dominus is the freestyler car, and it is probably the best car for resets.
Alright, and so right now I think you're probably what, around like 50, right?
Probably, yeah 50.
40, 50. So what about like the mental side, you know? Because I'm sure you get nervous throughout this. Like how do you how do you keep your cool throughout so many resets, you know?
You can't really keep your cool. It's mainly thinking thinking about the praise, like the relief of actually scoring that shot that you've been trying to go for that no one else has really scored before. Cause I remember, I think it was around 6-7 months ago, I think it was on a TikTok live stream, recording off my phone, I scored 100 resets for the first time after like a year of straight grinding. And the like wave of relief, oh, it was probably my greatest achievement, honestly. And if you mess up your finish and you get a bounce, yeah, it's just not... the shot basically doesn't count anymore. Due to like the freestyler's #1 rule, if it bounces it's bad.
Damn, bro.
Like right here, I'm going towards...
Oh yeah, there it is, that's the finish. Damn.
Yep.
Alright, well, for the 0.0001% of people that could actually pull this off, I guess there you have the tips. And yeah, everybody else, you probably never do this in your entire lifetime. It's kind of sad to think about, but also probably true.
I mean, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to plug anything?
I have a coaching Discord. I do YouTube. That's about it.
Alright, bet I'll leave a link to those in the down below. But yeah, thanks Josue, I appreciate it.